Let us prepare a PERT CPM Gantt chart of this project with 14 activities. We begin filling up the selector column. The selector column chooses the prerequisite of each activity. We have data, data validation, and the activity IDs to choose from. And hit OK, and then save. Now every activity has a selector to choose the prerequisite. Then we complete the start week column, which is equal to a condition. If D equals 0, meaning that activity is a start activity, then it is 0. Otherwise, we look up. We look up from this range. So the search key is the selector, and the search range to choose from will be the non-zero IDs, and the result range will be the finish week range. Enter, and we lock the references. Now we can drag or copy this formula to complete the start week column. Next, the finish week column. We use this formula, start week plus the duration, and copy the formula to complete the finish week column. Then the timeline column, which is a Sparkline formula. The data will be the start week and the duration. Our the chart type will be bar. And that completes. You will notice you have color blue. If we select 4, activity 4 as the prerequisite of activity 7, you see two colors now. Color 1 orange, which is the start week, and color 2 blue, which is the duration. We don't want to see the color 1 orange, so we change that to color 1 white. Color 1 white. Next, we add the maximum. The maximum will be the maximum of the finish week. Or the maximum formula of the finish week. Before dragging or copying this formula to fill up the timeline column, we lock the references. Now we can copy this formula to complete the timeline column. Next, we complete the start date and the finish date of each activity. Let's say we start today as for activity 1. So it is today. Then the finish date of activity 1 will be equal to today plus the finish week times 7, because there's 7 days in a week. And we lock the references. Likewise, the start date of activity 2 will be equal to this plus the start week times 7. and we lock the references or the reference here. Now we can drag and complete the start date column, copy this formula, and complete the finish date column. Now we complete the selector. For activity 1, the prerequisite is 0 because it's the first activity. Activity 2 comes after activity 1. Activity 3 comes after activity 2. And activity 4 comes after activity 2. Activity 5 comes after activity 4, and so on. Now, in this case, you have two choices, activity 4 or 6. So we choose the earlier to finish. So we choose activity 4 because we want the project to be completed earlier. Then this is activity 2, the prerequisite. Now, here we have a completion of activity 5 and 7 before activity 9 begins. So activity 5 is week 16, while activity 7 completes at week 19. We choose activity 7 because this requires completion of both activities. So we choose activity 7. And this requires activity 9 to be complete. This activity 11 requires also activity 9 to be complete. And activity 12 requires activity 7. Here, activity 13 requires activity 10 or 11 to be complete. So we, between 10 and 11, activity 11 finishes earlier. So we choose activity 11. And activity 14 comes after activity 30. This completes our PERT CPM Gantt chart, where the critical path is 38 weeks long, which is the shortest possible time of completion, and the earliest date of completion of the project is September 21, 2020.